Why I stopped using dating apps for good. I had gotten out of an 8-year abusive relationship and met someone on a popular online dating app. To be honest, I wasn't looking for anything serious, just someone to do the dirty with or eating out my neighbor every now and then. I had 2 boys and was happy and living a peaceful life on my own after going through hell. So I meet this guy who is just a couple years older than me and he had turned his life around. When he was younger, he used to be in gangs and drugs and now he was into working out and staying really fit and doing family stuff. I guess you can say I felt protected by him. He was a hard worker, self-sufficient, had a son and he loved going to the gym every day. I myself had kind of a crazy past but overcame and so we seemed like a good fit. We would go to dinner, movies, normal dating stuff but he eventually wanted to spend more and more time together and I was having trouble giving up all my free time for him and he would get angry about this, like really angry. After being with a controlling, possessive asshole for so long, this was obviously a red flag and after 3 months, I told him I didn't want to see him anymore. He said he needed to confess something to me. He admitted to me that he was using steroids and that was the reason for his mood swings. He cried and said he was sure that was the reason and was willing to stop if it meant he could have another chance and I obliged but only under the condition that we remain friends. Things were okay for a while, we saw each other maybe every other week and he started wanting to see me every week to which I told him that I was not interested in being anything other than friends at the moment since I was not ready for a relationship. He tried to talk me into giving him another chance but I just didn't find myself interested in him a romantic way and so I insisted that we just be friends. I stopped talking to him because I got mad at his insistence that we still talk every day since he said that's what friends do. He would always ask about my whereabouts and ask for pictures of who I was hanging out with and I told him that this is not what friends do and he just insisted that he just innocently wanted to see what I was up to. Fast forward 6 months later and I hadn't spoken to him at all within that time. I was happy and living my life and on one particular night when my youngest son was at his dad's, I went out to a local bar with friends. My oldest son who was 13 at the time was home alone so I left a little early to make it home around 10 p.m. I lay down in bed and go to sleep. So a little info on my living situation. I had been living in my condo for almost a year now and we lived in a great, safe community and I would leave my patio sliding glass door open, screen closed, to get a breeze in at night, no biggie. My bedroom was close to the patio and my son would sleep in the loft that was closest to the front door. I'm dead asleep when I suddenly feel someone slowly sit on my bed. I'm laying in bed wondering why my son would come sit on my bed so slowly. He wouldn't. I turn around and it's not him. It's Mario, not his real name, laying down in bed next to me. I sit up and ask him how he got in. He's not answering me. He says I needed to talk to you. I said okay. When you need to talk to someone you don't sneak into someone's room, you call them, you leave a note for them, literally anything but this. I'm thinking I'm gonna kill my kid for letting him in. He said I didn't have your number anymore, I needed to talk to you before it's too late. I didn't even entertain the before it's too late bit because I was livid, but something told me to keep my cool. I sit up and say look, I really want to talk to you too. But not like this. Please, just leave and I promise we will talk tomorrow. Call me tomorrow. He gets up and walks over to my side of the bed and starts rubbing my shoulders and is slowly making his way to my neck. He says, do you really want to talk? I look him in the eyes and say yes. I've been wanting to talk to you, but not like this. Please call me tomorrow? He stares at me while rubbing my neck and goes down to my shoulders and lets go. Says okay. This motherfucker proceeds to exit through my patio door and jumps my patio wall which tells me that is exactly how he got in. I freak the fuck out. Check on my kid. He had no idea what was going on. Locked all my doors and I don't sleep the rest of the night. The next day I text him and I tell him that if I ever see him near me or in my complex I will call the police and to never contact me again.
If you're wondering why I didn't call the cops to begin with, I knew he had a gun so I was scared of being retaliated against for being a snitch and B, I figured if I called the cops they would probably not do much or just let him out and I was afraid of what he would do after the fact. Either way he left me alone and I didn't hear from him for years. 4 years later, I'm going through Facebook and I see his face in people you may know. I click on the picture and notice that it looks like a jail picture, you know, those pictures where the guy is clearly in a jail cell. I scroll down the page and his most recent post is him posting his address for his family members to write to. A prison address. So I Google his name, and sure enough, articles after articles all with the same headline. Man arrested on suspicion of killing girlfriend. About 2 years after him and I dated, he shot and killed the girl he was dating. That could have been me. And I feel like shit thinking if there was anything I could have done to stop him. Even scarier thought is that he only got 12 years for her murder.